Well, hello there, and welcome to another part in the LEGO Dimensions Minimum Characters playthrough. On the last part, we just wrapped up the original story with all of the main characters here. We have still not used any other characters besides the main 3 starter pack characters. If you saw the video from the other day, or the last video in the playlist if you're watching this later, I did talk about a change that we're going to be making in terms of the characters that we're going to be using, and that character that we're going to be substituting here is in the Ninjago world. We're going to be substituting Zane for Sensei Wu. We have not used him in this playthrough, but Sensei Wu will be our Ninjago character for this playthrough. If you want to know more about why, please watch the video from yesterday. There are a few gold bricks that are needed because specifically Sensei Wu is going to be getting them with his vehicle. But without further ado, besides that, we're going to kind of explain what we're doing here in this video. This is a little bit more of like a transition video. It's not going to be extensively long, but we're going to be going over a couple of things that we're going to be collecting here that will kind of prepare us for some of the gold bricks and worlds and levels that we'll be tackling next. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing here. So we have, I believe, 3 or 4 worlds where we're going to be getting some red bricks, and then we're also going to do a little bit of stud grind here. So let's take our first character, and we'll put our first character that's not the original 3 on the toy pad for the first time. That's going to be, as I just mentioned, Sensei Wu. So let's go ahead and put Sensei Wu on the toy pad.
An honor to assist you in defeating the forces of evil.
And
Stuck, huh?
like all characters that will be coming up on this guide that we have, we're going to be actually creating all of their vehicles. So for this one, it's going to be the Flying White Dragon. So we'll just kind of scroll through that there. And then what we will do is we will save the model on its toy tag. And in the case of this one, I actually don't have the physical vehicle with me. So what I'm going to do for his vehicle specifically is I'm just going to get a random thing. So this one is actually technically Eris's vehicle, but we're just going to put that on the toy pad.
Don't worry.
All right.
You're only human, or maybe some kind of mammal. I can't.
And now we have
Good
made
to be reunited with you.
technically the first flying thing in this, which is actually a flying vehicle. And something I don't think we have done yet in this playthrough is we're gonna head off this way. This little panel here will allow us to get to all the adventure worlds. As this says, use the lift to reach gateways in which you can enter to travel to the different adventure worlds. So we'll head up here and we'll go over. Oh, that was basically telling us that there is that launcher basically to get us to the shard, which is going to be the other part of Vorton, which has all of the rest of our hub worlds. There's a total of 30 hub worlds that we're going to be exploring, and 14 here are in the main Vorton, and then there's 16 in the shard. So what we're going to do here first, we're going to go into the Ninjago world, and we're going to go collect the red brick there. That's the only thing we're going to connect at this time, but there are, obviously we're going to touch on it more here, and you'll see each of the portals here have a different theme. So you can see this is the portal one, and there's the Ninjago one. They're all over the place, but if you actually go onto the toy pad itself, we'll show that example for the next world we go to. But if you actually go on the toy pad itself, you can warp to the specific world without having to basically get to the actual, basically having to walk all the way up there. You don't have to do that in Vorton specifically. So let's head into the Ninjago world. You can see there are a total of 27 gold bricks. There's the rule breaker status. There is 8 restoration projects. That's what the wrench and the hammer mean. And then there's 1 red brick. We are going in for the red brick specifically.
have fallen through light and shadow. But
All right, and
So you need some
okay,
help, do you?
that's basically telling us we can do this, and we can summon this vehicle. So pretty easy. And you can see on the world map here, there are all of the kind of things you can do. There's a restoration project, there is a gold brick. Just for an example, we'll do one restoration project here just to show it. And we do have the Batmobile, so let's go ahead and we'll use Batman, and we'll drive around here. Now the red bricks in these, basically you'll see what they are in a second here, but they basically just kind of spawn wherever, and then you just have to collect it, and you have about 20 seconds to do so, which is why I recommend using a vehicle. It's a lot harder to use a character to get one of the red bricks. And we already died.
all right.
Okay.
No more
So there we go.
nice.
17 seconds to get that. And we went ahead and we used the vehicle and got it pretty easily. And just as an example here, I don't want to do that one because I like the gold brick that's tied to. Let's just find, yeah, like this for example. We're going to do one restoration here. So this is a restoration.
All the elements to restore this. Or we could just pay somebody to do it.
And this one is 40,000, so just a little bit more than what we have here. So we'll confirm that.
Thanks a lot.
And there we just used some studs and we have created this. It's actually a kind of a race here tied to this one, but we'll mess with this later. And with that, we will head back to Vorton. And we're heading to Vorton here, and this is what happens when you press click to Vorton. It'll just give you a bunch of stats and facts. And we're back here in Vorton, and you can see here, once we go on the portal itself, I don't know if we've actually interacted with this menu yet. You can see there's level select, upgrades, characters, red brick extras. You can click on characters. You can see all the characters here. Currently, we've only used these 3 and then Sensei Wu. But you can see all the characters that we have here. And we'll show this completed with all of the characters that we are using in this guide. Normally, or not normally, but at the end of all of our parts here. And then we have the red brick extras. And you can see all the red bricks here. This is the first one we've unlocked, the Way of the Brick. I'll go over what the other ones are and why we're going for these red bricks specifically. We're not going to be collecting every red brick, just a few that I think are relatively good red bricks to have. There are a few other ones that are also good, but we're not going to get all of them right at once. We'll get the other ones later. So you can also see the level select. We have Vorton, the Shard, and then Battle Arenas. Battle Arenas are unlocked with the year 2 characters. I think the developers kind of just put that in there because you wanted to get more out of the packs. We might play a battle arena in one of the parts, or if you want to see a battle arena video, you can also check any of the videos on my channel that have that. There is a specific battle arena video that's about 30 minutes long you could look at. But you can see on Vorton, we have our 14 levels that we have completed, and then some mystery thing here that we'll go over later. And then you can see the 3 worlds that we've unlocked, and then the Ninjago world, which you have just gone to. And then there's also the Shard, which has the 16 worlds. These are all the levels from the story packs, and then there's also the level pack levels. I didn't mention that before for the other ones. So what we'll do here, there is one more gold brick or red brick here in the year 1 franchise that we'll get, and that is in the Lego Movie world. So technically we don't need to add any other characters for it, but we're gonna get this as it's something that's relatively useful throughout the game. Okay, and now
Suppose you want to share in some of my crime-fighting glory, huh?
I believe that this red brick is actually in the tunnels here. So here's the Lego Movie World. Pretty cool. All right, so it's up there, and this will actually be somewhere where I'm going to bring in the. We'll get in a flying character in a little bit here, and we'll show kind of how that works. But we're going to spawn in the Sensei Wu flying dragon here. Maybe. Oh, it's right over there, which is fine. Nope. Okay, game. There we go.
Hey, loser. Suppose you want to share in some of my crime-fighting glory.
All right, so it's telling me it's right here. The entrance to this tunnel is right here. So we're going to try to get this as quick as we can. This one's a little more difficult. We got about 10 seconds. Wow. Difficult. And we got that with less than a second left. And then here is one of our basically stud things here. So you want to get it on the blue or the purple. That'll give you the most studs. We're probably going to end up getting a silver here, but we'll see. Oh, we got a blue. I believe you get like 10,000 studs or however many from that. So got a little bit lucky there with the blue. Obviously the purple is the best thing that you can get because you can get a lot more studs. But that is that example, and we just got the second red brick. We'll head back to Vorton and we'll get our next one here. And we have, I believe, a couple more, maybe 3 gold, maybe 3 red bricks that we'll get. I might just go for 2. There's a few red bricks that are kind of like, they're nice to have, but you don't necessarily need them right off the bat. So I think we're just going to go for 2 of them. And as you can see, when I transported the last world, I didn't even mention this, but you go right to where that portal is in Vorton. And what we're going to do next is we're going to unlock a character from the shard. And the first character we're going to use here is going to be Jake. So let's get Jake out.
All right, let's do a thing.
And here is Jake's unlockable character, which is BMO. And we will try to save all of these to the toy tag when we can. Oops. One thing that's interesting about the toy tags, so I have a 100% save file on here. If I use the vehicles from there, it will save those. And here's BMO, the reason that Jake is mostly required. A lot of the reason, at least. There we go. And that also, if you'll notice here, we're going to check this out just briefly. We're not going to play it, but you'll see we have now unlocked this battle arena side because we have put a year 2 pack on the toy pad. So that has unlocked the Adventure Time battle arena. And then for the shard, you can see here, we have now unlocked our first world from the shard world. When you click on this, it'll actually send you here, which is still on Vorton, but you'll have this little catapult, and that's actually going to send you to the shard. Now, I believe on the Wii U, the Xbox 360, and PlayStation, that's an actual portal, because the basically the RAM or some sort of file size prohibits them from just going straight over there. So just a last gen issue. So anyway, with the Xbox and PlayStation, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions, you can get over there without that. And you can see now we are in the shard, and we have a total of 16 worlds here, and we're going to specifically go into the Adventure Time portal here. And then one thing you'll notice here, for the year 2 world specifically, There are 28 gold bricks, and that is in every single world. There's also a rule breaker, and there's 6 restoration projects, and then there's a red brick. That's going to be pretty consistent across the entirety of year 2. They liked making it a little bit more universal. In year 1, there are specific mini-kit events pertaining to the original story and the level packs. Those are non-existent in year 2 just because not every pack has an actual level assigned to it. They didn't expand the story of the original game in year 2. So they didn't want to put mini-kit events for all of those. At least that's my guess. Alright, we're going to take BMO off here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to put our first flying character on here. So we're going to take off some of our starter pack characters.
300 lives of men have walked this earth.
And we're going to take Bubbles.
Good luck. May you
And then we will build Bubbles' vehicle, which is the Octi. Now the Octi is not one that's necessarily needed, so I don't have this one on me next to me, so I'm just gonna put this on a tag, and I'm sure we will upgrade these at some point, but
clouds our dimension.
we're just gonna put it on the toy pad and then we're gonna take it immediately off as we don't really need it. And you'll notice here it's giving us an A floating above us. If you press that, it'll tell you how to fly. We kind of cheated a little bit with that vehicle there, but if you'll go up and down, it'll tell you. That's basically what it's trying to do. And then you can fly and maybe catch up to this thing because it's pretty, wow, it is really trying to escape me. There we go.
Can't wait to add this into my scrapbook.
And then what I recommend here doing is we're going to go back into the portal, especially since we're going to another shard world. If you're going just to the portal on Vorton, I would recommend quitting and saving, but this would save a little bit of time here just going in the portal itself, because you have to go back on that catapult to get back over to the shard. So if you want to go from one shard world to the next, you have to actually go in the portal itself. And the other world we're going to go into is the Harry Potter world here, and I think we're just going to do those two for now. And where's the character here for that? There we go. We are using Hermione here.
This had better be important. I'm going to fall behind on my arithmancy revision to be here.
And here we are in the Harry Potter world. Going to find the red brick here. And that'll give us a total of 4 red bricks at the beginning here. There's plenty more that we're going to need for later. And not all of the red bricks are necessary in this game. There's actually quite a few filler ones that you'll probably never use. I know for sure that I've never really used quite a few of them because they're just kind of filler, and in my opinion not the best. And here we are in Harry Potter world, and we're just gonna kind of look on the map for that red brick, and you can see it's right there. We're just gonna quickly fly over and collect it, and you can see a quest here. That's that little eye dot. We'll come back here and we'll do that later. And for this here, we should be able to go ahead and quit to Vorton. And let's head back into Vorton here. You can see, oh, there's an illumination hint. We'll see plenty of hints here. There's just so many in this game you can look at. And you'll notice we kept Batman on the toy pad here. That is because we actually want to go to the DC Comics world briefly. And we'll see why in a second here. We're actually going to go over to a section where we can basically get infinite studs. And we might come back to this part in a minute here, but we're only at 29,000 studs, and we're going to need about 400,000 for what we're going to do here. So what we'll do is when we get into this world is Pretty nice world, by the way, in DC Comics. We're gonna get over to Arkham Asylum, which is right here.
Aw, what's the matter, bad guys? Oh, don't be so mad.
And just like in the kind of the shard where you're going to the
Another puzzle? Oh, this is so much fun.
yeah, Bubbles, where you're going to the grapple part. Actually, all the characters in the Xbox 360 and the PS3 and the Wii U version, they don't spawn. So this does not work on those platforms. That it works on the PlayStation and the Xbox versions. So we're going to bring in our Batmobile here. Maybe. I thought we were. Would be nice to have you. No. Sometimes it can be a little finicky. Okay. Sometimes this vehicle decides it wants to spawn right here. Maybe not. Maybe not at all. Okay, I do not understand why the vehicle does not want to show up. And then while we're here, we'll go ahead and get this. We won't use this red brick, but since we're here, we'll go ahead and collect it.
Add this into my scrapbook.
And where's the Batmobile?
I've got the instructions to fix this, but not the studs. Any ideas?
If cuteness can't help with this, then I don't want any part of it.
Gotta love when vehicles just don't show up. Already having some issues. You'll probably notice a lot throughout the game, but for some reason, vehicles just are weird. And they don't like us sometimes. There it is. Let's try doing that again, but over here. Yeah, sometimes the vehicles, they'll be stuck in like a certain location. Now that we've gotten it to spawn, it should show up here. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so in this section here,
I'm Batman.
we'll show this in a minute too with some other characters. With our red bricks that we're going to be using.
Another puzzle? Oh, this is so much fun.
This is a lot slower without those red bricks, so it might take a little bit of time here. But you can see that there's so many enemies here that we're just racking up a little bit of studs. And this is a good way to stud grind. And I'll show you why it's a little bit better with the red bricks as well. But we just really need to get about 200,000 right now, just for the 2 red bricks we're going to be using specifically for this. And then we'll unlock those other ones as well. You can see we're already about halfway to the rule breaker in this world. So the rule breaker in each of the worlds, you do have to be in a world for a good amount of time to get that, but if you're doing something like this, where you're just kind of getting studs quickly, it's relatively easy to get the rule breaker status. And I'm curious if we'll get it when we get the 200,000 studs. I would think so. Yeah, we should end up getting that. And we're already at 180,000. And we will quit and save and head back once we get to 200,000. Yeah, and right now it might seem like we're not doing so good, but we're almost there. That should get us right. That should get us to 200,000. That should be fine. And then each time we quit and save, it does take a little bit. And then this tells you to use the camera. Wow. Pretty crazy. Okay. And not quite at 200,000, so we're just going to destroy this, and then suddenly we'll be at 200,000. And then we do have to be on this console here. It only has these 3 panels, so basically if you're going on the toy pad itself, it's just basically another level select menu. I don't know why it's there. I mean, it's, you know, 1 click faster, but it doesn't make too much sense why it's there. You can also see minikit viewer. We don't have any minikits, so. And then there's also extras. We haven't looked at those yet, but we're gonna go to Red Brick Extras, and we are going to, we don't need this one yet. We're going to get that one in a minute, and then we just unlocked this one. We're not gonna use this at all. And then we don't need this one. We're going to head over to Mathematical, which is 100,000, and then Accio Studs. And you'll see here what this does in a minute. We're going to, we have 90 studs left. Actually, what we're going to do is we'll just head into that world again. We're going to go back to the DC Comics world just for a minute or two, just to show a little bit of an example.
I've got the instructions to fix this, but not the studs. Any ideas?
Perfect. And then we are back in Arkham, and then we're going to turn on these 2. As you can see, I've used these in a different save because it already pops up on those, but we have plenty of those. There's also codes in this game. We're not going to use any just because we want to be genuine. And we just turned on the Mathematical and Accio Studs. As you'll see, Accio Studs, it basically attracts studs to us, and then you'll see what Mathematical does here in a second. Okay, and it's probably going to be mean to us again, of course, because why wouldn't it be? Vehicles have a tendency to do that in this game. I'm going to take this off and put it back on. And hopefully that works. Nope. Okay, how about here? And I'm not cutting here because I want to show how genuinely frustrating it is here to like get a vehicle sometimes. That is crazy. I'm like over here thinking I got it correctly, but it just did not work. Okay. And then we're going to check back here to see if it's near the portal or if it's somewhere else. And I think that's it right there. You'll see it just hanging out over here for some reason.
Batman. How does he do that voice for so long?
And one of the cool things about this game, if you'll notice what Bubbles just said, some of the characters will just say random things about each vehicle, which is kind of cool. Okay.
Hello there, Mr. Puzzle.
And now we're going to use the example of the mathematical gold brick. So let's quickly do that. We're going to kill some enemies, and you'll see what happens here. The studs start to be a little bigger. And we instantly already have 500, 600, 700,000 studs because of this red brick. This is all of the mathematical red brick. Basically, as you build up combos, it will basically give you a bunch of studs. We're already at 2 million. That is how quick you can get this. I actually have over 2 billion studs on my main save file, just because I've grinded this a lot. And we didn't get the stud multipliers yet. There's 2 multipliers in this game, but this is actually, in my opinion, even better. than using the multipliers, because you can just get this so fast. And obviously, yes, it's multiplied when you have these stud multipliers, but for now we're just going to be using this mostly to get studs, because we are now already at 6 million and we've only really been doing this for a minute. So that is pretty much the example we'll use here, but that basically just got us a bunch of studs that we need here to start off. And just because we have gotten 7 million studs, we are going to go ahead and fully upgrade our Batmobile here. So 50,000, that's nothing. And you'll notice pretty much every vehicle has this, where you can actually place like a tune.
I can still squeeze some more features into it.
And you'll see we have basically unlocked all the color models. I don't care too much for those. What I actually do with a lot of my vehicles is I'll make them gold. And there's different colors of gold.
For a change of color, black or blackish gray.
Or you can make it gold, just because. And then we just went and changed that. And then we'll save it to the toy tag. And we now have a fully upgraded Batmobile.
Vortec really did a number on these cities.
We have a fully done Batmobile, and now getting studs is even easier because we weren't able to get quite as much. And we also got another gold brick by getting the rule breaker here, so we no longer have to get rule breaker here. That is our first gold brick acquired from any adventure world. So yeah, and if you have any kind of combat battles when you play any of the worlds, this is a really good red brick to have. And one thing that I have noticed about it too is if you restart your game, you do have to reset those. So like basically we'll have to go in extras, and then you'll just kind of like press on and off basically, or off and on, and then it'll work again. I don't know why that is, but I've noticed that sometimes when I'm restarting the game. But yeah, we're at 10 million studs, and I feel like that's probably a good starting point, seeing that we only need 25,000 to unlock the jukebox and things like that. And we'll head back to Vorton here. But that basically is what will get you started here in terms of upgrading vehicles and getting the jukebox things and any restoration project. Those are the main things we'll be using studs on, as well as red bricks. And we'll unlock those 2 red bricks that we're going to need for some of the upcoming levels and worlds that we'll tackle. And I don't know why I went to this, even though I just said that I don't like that. We're going to do the Way of the Brick, which is basically just a fast build red brick. And then we're not going to get this, but we'll unlock it since we have 10 million studs. And then there's the Detect mini kits. We probably won't use this a ton, but I think that that's a really good red brick if you're just starting the game and you want to do some basically some 100% of the actual levels. This is one that I highly recommend. A lot of these other ones we'll go over as we get them, but they're not as necessary. Like I'll just use one example. All Hail King Homer. You can turn gold and detect gold bricks basically, which is just, you can do that on the map anyway if you're in a world, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference if you're gold. But you know, some people like this, and you know, more power to them. We probably will not use this throughout the game, but we might end up using this one because it is very useful, and sometimes I don't remember where all the mini kits are for some of the levels. But that'll kind of do it for this part here. In the next part, I think we're going to start tackling some level packs, and then we'll also kind of with it go into the specific worlds that each level pack covers. And we won't be able to get every single gold brick in each of those worlds, just because we need to get the mini kit events unlocked from unlocking all of the mini kits in each of the levels. But we will tackle those in some later parts as well, and we'll kind of just be a little bit sporadic and kind of branch out. We're not going to necessarily go in an order, so we might do a level pack here and then a world there, not necessarily going in specific order. We will go in order of where the level packs are, but we might go out of order in terms of worlds, just because I want to mix in some shark worlds in there too. So we will tackle that on the next part. We have now added a few different characters into our roster, and we will try to add all of the characters that are in this minimum characters guide as we keep playing along. But if you guys like this content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned to the next video in this playlist. And check out all the other videos in the playlist if you have not seen up to this point. I highly recommend. This is a really good part to stay tuned into as well if you did not watch the rest though, because we will be getting into more of the, you know, collectathon kind of stuff in the next few parts here. So please stay tuned for that. And like again, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.